Hi everybody, it's Az here from Heel vs Babyface. A few days ago, I did a new versus old video where I compared the brand new Dark Portal that's going to appear in Tanaan Jungle to its old counterpart that resides in Hellfire Peninsula. Today, I'm going to take that a little bit further and compare and contrast Outland's version of Shadowmoon Valley with the Warlords of Draenor Beta's version of Shadowmoon Valley. Now I'm going to start off in the northwest corner and specifically in Shadowmoon Village. This is the Orc Stronghold here in the zone. It's pretty much just as you arrive from Taroka Forest. You can see it's made up of classic Orc architecture. This is the kind of stuff which we used to see in Orgrimmar before Garrosh took over as War Chief. It's rather small and compact, but you can tell from the wooden areas around it and the Fel Taint all around the place that this is an area which has been heavily under attack, and if you just go outside the doors then you can actually see the Orcs fighting against the Burning Legion which are coming in. Infernals and Orc Grunts are fighting right outside the front gate. So what takes its place in 2.0? Well, bizarrely enough, it actually turns out pretty much to be where your alliance garrison would appear. And one thing which I particularly liked is the actual layout of the garrison tends to also flow with the layout of Shadowmoon Village, the way that it starts low and then gently starts to creep higher and higher and higher until you get here to the garrison town hall. And if we just pop outside where some of the fighting and some of the Fel Taint was, you can notice that on the right hand side we have a mine and on the left hand side we have a river. Of course this has all now been taken over by the Fel Taint in the Burning Legion's version of Shadowmoon Valley in the Burning Crusade. Both of these areas are stark contrasts, and that is what I think Blizzard have absolutely gone for in the comparison of these two zones. Although they're the same in name, they are completely different in their aesthetic feel. Heading down the southwest side of the zone, we come to Legion Hold in the Burning Crusade. This was the main stronghold for the Burning Legion in this zone. It gave them a fantastic vantage point not only to attack the Horde side, but also to attack the Alliance side. And as we can see, there were just reams and reams and reams of Infernals and Pit Lords and demonic teleportation devices, and no matter how many Legion we seemed to kill, they always seemed to come back. This was a desolate place, a tough and unforgiving place, and I remember questing here on multiple occasions and finding it really, really tough, but at the same time very, very rewarding. Those were the days. But where Legion Hold stands in our timeline version of Outland, when we go through the Red Dark Portal and turn out at Draenor, we'll actually find that it's been replaced by somewhere called Anguish Fortress. This is an Orc Shaman stronghold, and one that's headed up by Nazul, and we'll actually get to tangle with Nazul very early on in the game because it also acts as the entranceway to one of the brand new dungeons, which is Shadowmoon Burial Grounds. If we look down at the bottom there, there's almost an amphitheatre where a rare elite resides that we have to release and defeat, but pan slightly across and we'll see some very peaceful orc shamanistic huts. The architecture is very reminiscent of Stonehenge in the UK and sort of has that dark magic, occultish, and also a little bit of a tinge of the unknown about it too. Head further south still and we arrive at Illidari Point in Outland. Now this is going to be one of the first occasions where Blizzard exercised some creative license, because we see here it's clearly riddled with Draenei ruins, but that isn't the case when we flip over to the new 2.0 version of Shadowmoon Valley and find that where this point is in the game, it's actually replaced by another orc village called Shazgul. Once more, don't expect to make too many friends here. This is another orc base of operations. It looks very similar in aesthetics to Anguish Fortress, but isn't quite as advanced with all the amphitheatre and Stonehenge-esque architecture which that place has. But this is also under the control of Nazul, and we do in fact come across him as part of our questing storyline, which I won't go any further into. Sanctum of the Stars on Outland is an exception to the rule here, and what I mean by that is all of these areas that I'm going to show you today at least have some sort of architecture which resided in its place in the Outland version, but not Sanctum of the Stars. If I was to go to the Draenor 2.0 version of where this would be, then technically we would kind of be in just an open area. There's nothing here which resided before it. So this is Blizzard once more using their complete and utter creative license to put a building where nothing was before, or in this case, nothing where something was before. And it works, so why knock it? There's no denying that the main focal point of Shadowmoon Valley in the Outland version is the Hand of Gul'dan. This is the Fel Tainted Volcano, which is slap bang pretty much in the middle of the map, constantly erupting and constantly spewing its foul lava all across the zone. If you were to approach it from the west, before you got there, you would come here to the Death Forge. This is another area that is run by fel corrupted orcs and also the Burning Legion. It's evil, it's twisted, and it's maniacal. And sadly, that spells a lot of trouble for the Draenor 2.0 version, because here resides the peaceful settlement of Mbari village, exactly where the Death Forge was. But during the course of this video, I've used the terminology artistic license a couple of times, where Blizzard have made a judgment call to completely change what appears to be on the Outland version of Shadowmoon Valley for something completely different and new in the Draenor version of Shadowmoon Valley. But they may have got something a little bit wrong here. Nothing that can't be sorted out with a quick tweak of names. You see, if we go back to the Outland version of Shadowmoon Valley, we have just in front of the Black Temple on the west hand side the ruins of Bari, which heavily hint that this is actually the ruins of Mbari village. The problem is, this is on the eastern side of the Hand of Gul'dan and not the western side of the Hand of Gul'dan where the Death Forge is. And if you combine the Altar of Shatar with the ruins of Bari, then you seem to have the settlement called Elador, which is in the Shadowmoon Valley Draenor version. It's big enough to accompany both of those areas, whereas Mbari village is very small and very compact indeed. Now, should Blizzard wish to rectify this situation, it's a very simple fix indeed. All they have to do is change the name of Mbari village to Elador village, and change the name of Elador to Mbari. And guess what? Everything has been sorted out tickety-boo. Returning to Outland now and going to the south coast, we come across the Dragonmoor Fortress. Now, this place played quite a significant role in the Burning Crusade, especially if you wanted to go over to Netherwing Ledge, do the daily grinding and get hold of the very much sought after Nether Drakes. The Dragonmoor of course made a more significant appearance in Cataclysm in the Twilight Highlands. And yet, on the Draenor version, it's called Shimmering Moor. There's nothing here. There's barely a construction. But I really do like the way that the pathway leads up and winds back on itself exactly like it does in Dragonmoor Fortress, where it comes eventually to a very small settlement. Now yes, Shimmering Moor may be under attack at the moment, but there's no denying that it looks absolutely beautiful. This isn't probably what the Draenei had intended for it, but still looks magnificent. But as I previously said, you can't really talk about the Dragonmoor Fortress unless of course you talk about Netherwing Ledge. I still come to this place with a feeling of trepidation. It was a level 70 area. You had to be maximum to come here. And the dailies were really, really unforgiving, and the mobs were really tough indeed. But the reward of the Nethering Drakes, and also the Sky Challenge, which was here too, that you could get yourself the whip, which would increase your mount speed, was enough to keep you coming here day in, day out. And I guess some things just never change. You see, On the Draenor version of this place, it's called Darktide Roost, and just like Netherwing Ledge, this place is also home to maximum level characters. Everything here is level 100 and really unforgiving and really punishing. Well, especially if you're level 92 on the beta at the moment. Whether or not this will be a level 100 quest hub at the end game has yet to be seen, or whether or not you can fudge your way onto this place by the form of disguise to complete whatever tasks are held for you. And that leaves one final place of significance. On Outland, we know it as the Black Temple. Once the Temple of Carabor, the most sacred of places for the Draenei. It's changed hands over the course of many, many years. Once the home to the prophet Velen, it was conquered by Gul'dan. Gul'dan was usurped by Nazul, and when the Alliance came pouring through the Dark Portal and Nazul attempted to flee, Magtheridon seized his opportunity to take it. But it wasn't even his to keep. He himself was kicked out by Illidan. But in Warlords of Draenor, it returns back to its sacred roots and once more becomes the Temple of Carabor, home to the prophet Velen. It's yet to be conquered by anyone, and it's yet to be corrupted by the Burning Legion, and stands in all its magnificent glory, looking nothing short of sublime. A beautiful place, the most sacred of places on the map for the Draenei. We finally have the opportunity to see it as it was always intended to be, and its intention is one of utter magnificence. So what do you think? Which version do you prefer of Shadowmoon Valley? The old version, the Outland version, or the altered timeline version, which we're going to see in the up and coming World of Warcraft expansion, Warlords of Draenor, where everything is yet to be destroyed. The portals have not torn the planet asunder, and we get to see things how, at least they should, in some timeline have been. And I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook and twitch.tv/Hill vs Babyface for live Warlords of Draenor beta streaming, and I shall be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care, everybody. Bye-bye.